Ladies and gentlemen, business owners, I say this with a heavy heart when I expose this to you. Yes, I am passionate about quality, but I have suppressed my passion because I don't want you to think that I'm mean or angry, but I will tell you this, I am disgusted. I'm disgusted with a leader like that, okay? David Calhoun, who says when the whole thing with Spirit happened, we understand that it possibly was a Boeing quality issue, like everything is. He said our regulator, the FAA, is coming out with some good stuff for repairs and quality and all that. Hold on a sec. Boeing was made a regulator of the FAA and for the FAA in 2009. I already told you this. And here it is. I'm not going to read this again. It'll be down in the description. It gives regulatory FAA authority to Boeing, which means this. David Calhoun, the CEO, is administrator of the FAA, representing Boeing because of their authorization to Boeing. So how, when you hear it today, the FAA approves inspection process for ungrounding 737 MAX 9s, Daryl Guberman, Keaton QA expert, exposes this mess, how can you have reliability in that aircraft that you're going to put your ass into on the seat? On top of it, Boeing gave up source inspection to their accreditation body that they sit on, ANSI, ANAB, who are underwriters for the International Accreditation Forum and also the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. The IAF is incorporated in Delaware. They gave up source inspection authority to their accreditation body, ANSI, ANAB. If you have a certificate from ANSI, ANAB, all you do is send it in, Boeing checks it off. They don't know whether you're making their parts in a kitchen sink. They take that AS9100 and say, oh, they're good, their quality is good. And they don't have to send Boeing inspectors out to that facility. This is what this Boeing supplier information was in 2002. Very few people know about this. I got this years ago, and I've been exposing this for the last probably 5 years about Boeing's quality being in the crapper. This video today is about Palestine Hamas member of the International Accreditation Forum IF via Iran attacks Israel targets. It is astonishing an American-based accreditation organization, ANSI, ANAB, and the IAF, International Accreditation Forum. ANSI, ANAB is in the United States, IAF is incorporated in Delaware. It is a repository for national and international accreditation bodies. ANSI and ANAB are underwriters for both the IAF and ILAC. That means any situation that happens, like with Boeing, the door popping off, ANSI ANAB used to say we only certify the system. That's not true anymore because they are an underwriter. Boeing is liable, and so is ANSI ANAB. I have the documents that prove without a shadow of a doubt. I've showed them to you before. They'll be down below. Government contracts that call out ANSI, ANAB are underwriters for the IF. That's a legal document because that's what was generated by our government. So they should know, shouldn't they? It seems astonishing an American-based accreditation organization, ANSI, ANAB, would have terror groups along with working nations openly hostile to the U.S. The head of GPMC and Guberman PMC, Daryl Guberman, courageously tackled this issue head on, as I'm doing with Boeing, because Boeing sits on there too. I wonder if his wife wears a hijab, whatever that is. Anyway, in an ever more dangerous age, there is a certain expectation that businesses that work with American companies stay far away from those who advocate things like terror or anti-Semitism. Sadly, this is not the case of all companies who maintain an ANSI ANAB accreditation and many federal agencies and corporations who sit on ANSI ANAB's board. ANSI ANAB are underwriters for the IF and ILAC, In recent shocking news, terror group Hamas attacks Israel, killing 1,200 people. And they sit and are supported by Iran on the International Accreditation Forum. Iran is a equivalent in accreditation to ANSI-ANAP. ANSI-ANAP is their underwriters, so you have to now assume that they are sympathetic to the Hamas issue in Israel because they sit on the board together. And if ANSI-ANAP are associate members, they could put a sanction on that, but they won't. Because I have a document from 2017 that states here are the sanctioned countries, Iran being one of them, Yemen, etc. We will do everything in our power to meet with these people, not in the United States, not in their home countries, but somewhere around the world. That's exactly what ANSI-ANAP said. So how can we have allegiance to your quality certification accredited by ANSI-ANAP, whether from TUV, DNV, BVQI, and by the way, the registrars, if you want to take me to task, I already know that sitting on ANSI's board is the DOJ, FBI, and they're in bed with the American Bar Association, so make my day. Make it, because you are culpable to being involved with Hamas via the membership on ANSI and them sitting on the IF right over by Iran, who subsidizes Hamas. Unknown to most Americans, and I'm exposing this, unknown to most Americans, there is more than one international business associated registrar in America that counts Hamas as a member. That's a GPMC, our company. Stepping up to shine the light on this unethical stance in business is me, Daryl Guberman, who named and delivered evidence against the International Accreditation Forum, IAF, for harboring these kinds of unsavory ties in a recent YouTube expose, and I've been doing that right along with their Boeing quality issues. IAF, ANSI-ANAP, who were used between 2002 and present as a source inspector for Boeing on their supplier portal, an exclusive accreditation body, along with the international equivalents, which appear to be Iran. I showed that to you before. I will show it to you again, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue. And here it is. You can't make this up. I'll hold it here for 2 minutes. So yes, Boeing used ANSI-ANAP, the accreditation body that they sit on, that is set on the board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification, as their designated source inspector. And a source inspector is paper. Does it have a head? Does it have a brain? Does it have a heart? Does it have arms and legs? Does it have thought processes? Does a piece of paper have the ability to certify quality? No. We have done our investigation, and the evidence is clear. It's disgusting, the behavior of these groups towards the U.S. and Israel. And we refuse to remain silent about it, as we refuse to remain silent about David Calhoun. And by the way, Calhoun and Jim Tassett from Lockheed, and also you can have Albert Bourla in there. Albert Bourla, who's a Greek Jewish guy. He's involved with Hamas, I guess, because he's a member of ANSI, and ANSI sits over by Iran. It's disgusting, the behavior of these groups towards the U.S. and Israel, and we refuse to remain silent. Unlike the corporations and federal agencies that are members, along with our Congress and senators who get money through Lockheed Martin's disbursements in all 50 states, Democrats and Republicans. Mr. Guberman, me, doesn't hesitate to name some of the big American companies, as I did. Boeing, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, GE, and also federal agencies like the FBI, CDC, NIH, FDA, USDA, FAA, DOJ, FBI, and so many others, EPA. Mr. Guberman doesn't hesitate to name some of the companies who are affiliated with IAF through ANSI-ANAP membership. He then passionately calls to end with American companies like Boeing should get out of ANSI-ANAP, either voluntary or ending these associations, or for other actions to protect American interests to be taken. Well, you see their quality at Boeing? This is a problem. Their quality is precipitated by their quality certification, which they demand on their supplier portal. It's got to be ANZI-ANAP or international equivalent, could be Iran and Pakistan. I'm going to leave it here. This video today is about Palestine Hamas member international accreditation form via the IAF, via Iran attacks Israeli targets. My friends, I leave it here, and I will say this to these guys. All of them. It is impossible to comprehend, and I've said this before, it is impossible to comprehend the moral mischief, if I may so express it, that mental lying, like when he says, our regulator, when his organization was made into a regulator in 2009. It is impossible to comprehend our moral mischief, if I may so express it, that mental lying has produced in our society. When a man has so far corrupted and prostituted the chastity of their mind as to subscribe their professional beliefs to things they do not believe, they have prepared themselves the commission for every other crime. And the truth and that was Thomas Paine. And Thomas Paine also said, he said, and I use this as my mantra, and this is why I do what I do. I love the man who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, and he whose heart is firm and conscience approves his conduct shall pursue his principles unto death. Thomas Paine. And the last one, my friends, and this they have to listen to. Douglas Foster Wallace said, the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And ladies and gentlemen, those who fly a lot, may God have mercy on your soul, because these guys apparently since 2002, and then in 2009, don't give a flying fuck about you. And by the way, flying fuck is a word that we used, that ANSI used on us, the American National Standards Institute, used on us in 2019. Thank you.